We've got some big questions for Nintendo at E3 2017, and while their spotlight may only be 30 minutes, they've got tons of Treehouse time to answer our queries. So today, we're counting down our top 5 questions for E3 2017. What's up, everybody? It's Zach from Switchforce. Gabe is here, and we are clamoring for Nintendo news, and it's only a few days away. We've got some questions, though. We love the Switch thus far, but how will things go as we move forward? And I think that begins with number 5, the Virtual Console and their services. How committed is Nintendo to delivering a platform that puts it all together? Will we see Virtual Console? Will we see Netflix and YouTube? Will this online app be as exciting as they seem to think it is? And how will it all work together to form a 2017 type infrastructure?
They have a lot of pressure on them, I think. Like, this E3 is going to be a very important one. People are expecting a lot, and maybe people's expectations are getting a little bit lowered with now the news that the spotlight is only 30 minutes. But you're right. The Virtual Console is something people are absolutely clamoring for. We all really want it, but then do they have the right library at launch with Virtual Console? Another thing, the services. Do we get Netflix finally? People have been asking for that as well. Hulu, things of that nature. And how are they going to improve their online infrastructure going forward? We know that they did push back the Nintendo Online paid service until next year. So what does that mean for the time being? Do we have to wait now for Virtual Console? Like, we know that the library of games is coming. So there are a lot of many questions in this one question that can still be asked. And I hope that they address this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really an interesting piece of the puzzle, and I wonder if that does get spotlight time. I think it'll be telling if they decide to have even a small focus on it for their big 30-minute showcase, or if it's relegated to Treehouse time. We'll have to wait and see. But I personally am pulling for Virtual Console above the rest, but I do hope they dive a little bit into online and other services. Number 4, release dates, please. We have heard announcements, we have seen titles, but we want to know when we'll be playing the likes of Super Mario Odyssey, Fire Emblem Warriors, and I know for you, Gabe, Xenoblade 2.
And this is like my biggest worry. I really want release dates for everything. Like Rabbids, that needs a release date, like something like firm. I want concrete release dates that are going to be met. You know that I, for the longest time, thought that Xenoblade 2 wasn't even going to come out this year, but now they've mentioned it often enough that I feel like it is coming. Nintendo does still have like quite a bit of stuff coming throughout the year, and I just want to make sure to have a correct date so I can circle my calendar. I'm excited for all of these things. Nintendo's doing a really good job of supporting the Switch themselves, so yeah, now we just need some dates.
I feel like this is the question that most assuredly gets a definite positive answer. They've done a fantastic job thus far of building out their calendar. We have ARMS on June 16th. We have Splatoon 2 on July 21st. We now know that we get Pokken Tournament DX on September 22nd. So as long as they keep that going, as long as they don't 180 and go back on their promise, we will get awesome games pretty much every month for the rest of the year. But having those official release dates just cements in our minds that we are going to be playing so much Nintendo glory on our Switch in 2017. Number 3 is Super Mario Odyssey as revolutionary and exciting as Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is a big one. Mario Odyssey will be carrying the Switch for holiday 2017, and all signs point to it being an absolutely immaculate Mario experience. They're going back to the more exploratory 3D sandbox style of Sunshine and 64, and if they deliver, this could be just as big of a moment for the Switch as Breath of the Wild being a bold, big open world.
And just to touch on like the previous question we want answered, I think if any game doesn't get a firm release date, it's going to be Mario Odyssey. That doesn't.
Really?
Because Mario Odyssey lends itself to having like a direct dedicated to it.
Yes.
Somewhere in the future where they will give the release date. Here, I'm sure they'll maybe still say fall. It would be amazing if they just said, hey, this is coming in October or whatever. Like, but, I don't see it. So this is the one that worries me as far as that. But, going back...
It's definitely coming 2017, though. We know that.
Yes, they did. That's what they've said, and we have no reason to think otherwise.
For sure.
Just to touch on going back to not its like roots, but the roots of, like you mentioned, the exploratory nature of Sunshine and 64, something that people have been wanting for a long time. Yeah, people really love Galaxy and 3D Land, but this is something that people have really been wanting, and it's finally happening. And since Breath of the Wild was like so like revolutionary for the franchise. It introduced this like huge open world and physics mechanics that hadn't been seen in this franchise before. I want to see what Odyssey is going to introduce that hasn't been done in the Mario franchise before.
Absolutely. That's a great point. I think the bar is set even higher because of the big step that Zelda took, right? So people are going to kind of have in their back of their mind, like, holy crap, we played that game for such massive amounts of time and had so much fun, and it was such a real, just huge victory for that franchise. And, Mario's going to be done in a different style, right? It's probably not going to be as massive as Zelda, most assuredly, but I think it can still do similar for the franchise if it takes those steps, if it combines the great aspects of 64, of Sandbox, with stuff like Galaxy and 3D World that were more linear and delivers just this really ultimate Mario experience. Plus, if those levels continue to be imaginative and if New Donk City feels spot on instead of kind of shaky, it's going to be awesome. And we know that they're spending a considerable chunk of their spotlight and their show on Super Mario Odyssey. So for this one to be a hit is going to go a long way in giving Nintendo high marks for E3. At number 2, are third parties on the Switch train yet? We know that they'll probably come. A lot of people have been saying really positive things. CEO of EA is really liking the Switch. We've heard similar comments from other publishers as well, but is this the time for it? We expect to see Skyrim. We expect to see NBA 2K18. We know we'll see the slightly gimped FIFA 18, but what else? I don't know that we'll get much, and I think it'll be really interesting, and this is more one that if it happens is just such a huge plus. Then if it doesn't happen, that's kind of what I'm expecting. But I am curious to know, like, who of the major devs and publishers are on board.
Capcom is. Monster Hunter Double Cross is coming. So
very true.
That's definitely a win. Platinum is still working on their Switch title. They've confirmed that. We don't know what it is quite yet. It's safe to say that it is not Bayonetta. So, they have something up their sleeve there as well. And there's a lot of things that could still be announced. Maybe Madden coming to the Switch could be cool. A lot of the sports games, frankly, would be good, except NBA Live. Keep that away because nobody likes NBA Live. I'm joking. 2K is already coming, and that is a full 2K version, at least from what we've been told. So,
and Nintendo sent out those like influencer packs with 2K18, so they seem to be putting a considerable amount of oomph behind that, and I would assume that means it's a version they're proud of.
Yeah, so the third-party support is important. There was that rumor about Dark Souls coming, so could that still possibly make an appearance?
Right, there's the LA Noire little tip that we said or saw that could be coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch would be a cool addition.
And this isn't as cool in my opinion, but games like Payday still making the way over to Switch. So there's definitely some third-party support. I'm just hoping that it's like the beginning of a small snowball rolling downhill, and it gets like much bigger along the way, and everybody kind of comes on board. Because the Switch seems to be like a resounding success for the most part. It would be a much bigger success if they could keep these things stocked, but that's Nintendo for you.
Right, and we know we're going to get the indie support. That's going to be there, which is awesome. But I would like to see more of those logos that they flashed at the initial Switch reveal, that pledge support. I want to see their stuff. And I don't know if it's time yet or if that's more of a 2018 thing, but I'm excited to find out either way next week. And number 1, our final big question for Nintendo at E3. Are you going to tell us what's happening in 2018? Will there be any big surprises? We know that they have a shortened amount of time at their spotlight, but they do have Treehouse, and they could come out and just go one game after another. So will they paint a picture of 2018 for Switch owners? Will they show people that don't currently have a Switch why their roadmap is one you want to be a part of? And I hope that they at least deliver one surprise and one title for 2018 that we can really look forward to.
And this is the one that I'm most hesitant about. The verbiage on the announcement of the spotlight was that it's focused on 2017. The word focus can be taken either way. Like, is focus like that's all? Or, yeah, it's mostly 2017, but, we'll have one or two 2018 things as well. I don't think that we get too much from the future, unfortunately. I think that they're really trying to drive home the fact that they have a lot of stuff still coming this year. Again, just to read some of them off, we have Xenoblade, we have Fire Emblem, Monster Hunter, Mario. Like, there's a ton of stuff, and Rabbids as well. So I think they have their hands full for now, and maybe they have another direct closer to the end of the year where then they speak about 2018. But yeah, I really want them to have at least one big surprise. Please be Metroid. or Pikmin, I guess,
or Retro's project, something super cool that just, gets us salivating. And I know that they're trying to really embrace sort of the announce and then launch with a very small hype cycle in between. But it would really be good when you have the spotlight on your spotlight, when you have USA Today, when you have Time Magazine, when you have all of this. It would be a smart move to show something that leads us into the future. Sony and Microsoft are fantastic at doing that, at getting people just super pumped up about the future. And the Switch
sometimes the far, far, far future.
Right. The Switch is a fantastic futuristic device in its form factor, right? Being able to be a hybrid is awesome. So now just continue to lay those bricks. They've done an awesome job of almost every month having something that is really fun to play, and let's just keep that going and give us more incentive to be on board with this new platform. Those are our 5 big questions for Nintendo at E3 2017. In a perfect world, we'll have all of them answered, but let us know in the comments down below what some of your questions for Nintendo are at E3. What are the biggest answers you want at next week's Spotlight and next week's Treehouse Live? We will be there. We'll have all the coverage. Whether they answer these questions or not, we'll definitely be discussing it, and we hope that you're a part of that as well. So until that time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button if you're ready for E3. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest in terms of announcements, hands-on, and everything that embodies E3. Until then, though, for myself and Gabe, Switch Force out.